So my gift for you today is to talk about your personality. I don't know if you're going to see that as a gift or not, but here's the deal. A lot of us never consider who we are. And I think it's a shame because we're really good at considering who we aren't. We do an awful lot of comparing ourselves to other people, comparing our lives to the lives that other people have. And in that lens, we can feel really crummy about ourselves and about what we have in front of us and what's coming in the future. What I want you guys to do is to take a little bit of time to get to know yourselves. The truth is you were actually created exactly the way that you were supposed to be created. There is nothing at all wrong with you. But many of us just haven't taken the time to investigate our own personalities. And thankfully, there's some people out there who have put together some pretty cool tests that when we complete them can give us some insight to what motivates us, why we do the things that we do, why we respond the way that we respond. Once you understand who you are and where you're coming from, it really starts to help make everything else make sense and actually helps you to be even more empowered in your own life. What's also exciting about knowing more about your own personality is realizing that you're not alone. You will fit into a personality category. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to change the way that you do anything. It's all about awareness. But just knowing that and recognizing that you aren't an outlier that doesn't fall into one of the different types of personality categories, I think can be really reassuring for many of us. Most of us think personality just boils down to being an introvert or an extrovert, and that is a lot of it. I'm curious, are you guys introverts? Are you extroverts? Do you have any idea which one I am? I'll definitely share that in the comments after I get finished doing this Facebook Live. But if you want to do more about yourself, just know that it goes beyond introversion and extroversion. It goes way more beyond that, quite honestly. There's two personality type tests that I really love. One of them is the Myers-Briggs type indicator. That's the one with the 4 letters, and it always starts with the introvert or extrovert. So you start with an I or an E. And once you do the test, you come up with 4 different letters. I really like that one, and I'm going to create, I actually already did, I created a page over on Joyful DVM that links you up to a free test where you can find out what your type is. The other kind of test that I really love is the Enneagram. So if you haven't heard of that one, you want to check that one out as well, I definitely recommend you do both. And over on that page on Joyful DVM, which is just joyfuldvm.com/personality, I've put 2 links for you to these 2 different tests. So if you're just curious, wanting to learn a little bit more about you, getting to know yourself a little bit better, then I definitely recommend that you check those out. I do have a word of caution for you, though. No matter what type of personality test you take, you can skew your own results. And we often do this when we take these tests when we're rushed, when we take these tests when we can't focus, and when we take these tests from a biased perspective. What I mean by a biased perspective is one where you're only considering the test questions in relation to maybe your work life or in relation to just your personal life, or worse, in relation to what you wish your life was like. I don't want you to do that when you do these tests. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to what personality you turn out to be. Remember, this is all just so that you get to know yourself a little bit better. But let's get to know yourself honestly, which means you want to answer the questions honestly, even if you don't really like your answers. Be as honest as you can. And if you get stuck to where you're just not sure what the right answer is, I want you to think back. Think back to when you were younger. Think back to your childhood and how you would have answered the question back then. The truth is that as life goes on, the way that we react and respond to different questions is going to change based on life experience. And it's not because the answers are different, but it's because our perception of right and wrong answers is changing. We definitely don't want you to look at this from a right or wrong perspective because there isn't a right or wrong. This is all just curiosity, just getting to know yourself. And having this little bit of information, it's not going to be life-changing stuff. It's just going to bring more awareness, and it's going to help you to understand maybe why you respond to different situations the way that you do, why different things bother you the way that they do. And I got to tell you, having that little extra level of awareness about yourself can be very comforting. And it also can kind of connect a lot of the dots where maybe you're feeling like you're a little bit of an outlier or a little bit different than everybody else. Truth is, you are different than everybody else, and you're supposed to be different than everybody else, but still just having kind of an idea of who you are and why you do the things you do may just help you feel a little bit more connected overall, and mostly more connected with yourself. Because without this kind of information, a lot of us compare ourselves to the people around us, whether that be family members, coworkers, even just strangers. We compare ourselves to other people, and when we don't match the way that those people behave and the way that they interact in their own lives, then we often feel like we're doing something wrong. I know this happens in veterinary medicine because so many of you have told me, and I experienced it myself. If I don't do things the same way another doctor does them, does that mean that I'm doing it wrong? No, it just means that you're doing it the way that you do it. This is true throughout your whole entire life. And so if you're trying to get your life to fit into a perfect picture of what somebody else's life looks like, and you're frustrated because you just can't make it happen, don't fall back and think that you're doing it wrong. Don't fall back and think that you're broken. It's absolutely not true. You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. So let's just get to know you a little bit more so that you can give yourself a little more compassion and grace and understanding, and you can move forward with confidence because you are exactly who you're supposed to be. I can't wait to see what results you guys get when you take these personality tests. So if you're interested in sharing, I would love for you to drop it below. And once this video is done, I'm going to drop below and put my personality types there as well. It'll be interesting to see who matches up with me. And I suspect not a lot of you will, quite honestly. One of my types is a little bit on the rare side. So be it. It is what it is. But I would absolutely love to see what you guys are. And I would love to see if we can see a pattern kind of emerge in the veterinary profession as far as what personality types tend to be drawn to this. I'm sure somebody out there has already done their study, but I would love to do it here for our Joyful DVM viewers to see what you guys are coming back as, and so that we can see if we have a pattern there as far as people who are interested in taking charge of their life, changing their own futures, and not being victims of the veterinary profession. That's going to wrap it up for today. I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas, and I can't wait to see you soon. Have a great day, have a blessed holiday, and take care.